Boulder's top stories this week. Council directs staff to move forward on a possible fee on plastic and paper bags in grocery stores. Boulder Middle School students get their hands wet learning about water conservation. And our town recognizes its many historic sites during Historic Preservation Month.
Welcome to Inside Boulder, featuring topics and stories that impact the community of Boulder, with Patrick von Kaiserling and Jennifer Bray. And on the news desk, Natalie Wood and Mike Benuelos bring you the stories making headlines in the community this week. Inside Boulder News starts now.
Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Natalie Wood. If you want to avoid a fee for bags when you go to the grocery store, you may need to start bringing your own. On Tuesday night, City Council directed staff to develop an ordinance placing a fee on plastic and paper checkout bags for council consideration later this year. The process will include conducting a study to determine an appropriate fee amount as well as what the money would be used for. City staff has been exploring this issue since last summer when many community members asked Council to find ways to reduce disposable bag use. According to recent stats, 33.3 million single-use bags were used at checkouts in Boulder in 2011. That amounts to 342 bags per person per year. Inside Boulder News spoke to Jamie Harkins about the environmental impacts these bags have and the process the city has taken to review the alternatives.
The plastic bags are a huge problem at the recycling center because folks put their recyclables in them and then they actually get caught up in the screens that the facility uses to separate the materials. So that means the equipment has to be shut down and those bags need to be manually cut out, sometimes several times a day. So the staff recommendation was to place a fee on both plastic and paper bags, and that was really due to this fact that both types of bags have impacts, and we wanted to shift folks away from disposable products in general and not from one type of bag to another. So the immediate next step is we have to do something called a fee nexus study, and that's a pretty simple analysis of what a fee should be, the amount, and also what that revenue can be used for, because this won't be money that just goes into the general fund. This will be money that has to be used for related expenses. And so we'll likely use that money for education and outreach, bag giveaways, and all the administration of the program, enforcement, so all the things related to this program. And so the consultant will tell us what those appropriate uses are. And then from there, we'll bring back a draft ordinance to council later this year.
The ordinance to place a fee on plastic and paper checkout bags only would apply to an estimated 45 grocery and convenience stores in Boulder. Some area students also considered ways to improve their impact on the environment this week by participating in the 20th Annual Boulder Water Festival. The event at CU engages middle school students in hands-on activities about where Boulder's drinking water comes from and how to protect and conserve this valuable natural resource. Take a look.
Where does water from the storm sewer go?
To the creek.
To the creek.
It's a day filled with fun, education, and most importantly, water. More than 1,100 4th and 5th grade students from Boulder area schools soaked up knowledge about Boulder's drinking water and how to protect it.
It's a day of water experts being here to teach our children and engage them in learning about local water issues while also having fun. The energy just comes from the kids that are so excited and the teachers that have to really coordinate to be here.
The 20th Annual Boulder Water Festival is a nationally recognized event that engages students in hands-on activities with a series of classes. Here, they discover the geography, history, and science of water and study the animals and plants that rely on water for survival.
We've worked really hard with the school district and with teachers to connect what they're learning here to not only their standards that the 4th and 5th grade students and teachers need to meet in the classroom, but also to make learning about water relevant on a local level. So for example, they're learning about fish in Boulder Creek and in the Boulder Creek watershed, and they're learning about flood safety issues in Boulder County. So I think that those activities help deepen their local water knowledge.
Water's being taken out of our standards, which is unfortunate. especially for Colorado, where it's a really urgent issue. I think it's really important for kids to learn about, so it's great to have an event like this to bring them to, where they can still learn about conservation and the importance of water in Colorado.
Participating classes completed a series of water classroom learning activities before attending the festival. Once there, the students got their hands wet learning about one of Colorado's most important natural resources. Participating students also received a take-home book that encourages them to work with their family members to complete activities related to local water resources and conservation. Since its start in 1992, nearly 19,000 Boulder area students have participated in the festival. You may have noticed some increased traffic last week around town thanks to the families and friends of CU graduates. More than 6,000 degrees were awarded at CU's spring commencement, which was a record number for the Boulder campus. It's no surprise that while the number of CU graduates is on the rise, so is the number of freshman applications to the University of Colorado. CU's Office of Admissions reports that applications are up 7% this year, largely due to a rise in non-resident applicants.
When you come and visit a town, you want to have a good experience. And I think Boulder does a very good job of giving people a good experience. So every time somebody goes onto Pearl Street and has a great time and has a nice meal and has a good experience at their hotel, that helps us in recruiting. One of the things that CU Boulder does very well is provide the complete package. So we have a very traditional campus in that students move here at kind of a traditional age. All of them live on campus, including out-of-state students, in-state students, international students, and that's a very traditional experience that students are looking for.
CU isn't only seeing an increase in applications nationwide. For the first time last spring, the University of Colorado began sending admissions officers overseas to recruit students in an effort to increase foreign enrollment. As a result, the number of international undergraduate applications has gone up this admission cycle. May is Historic Preservation Month, and the city and the county are taking the opportunity to reflect on the importance of historic places that have made Boulder what it is today. A Heritage Preservation Awards celebration, which is the cornerstone of several weeks of commemorative events, took place at the Chautauqua Community House this week. The Boulder County Heritage Preservation Roundtable presented the 2012 Square Nail Awards. Inside Boulder News spoke to Historic Preservation Planner James Hewitt about the prestigious Square Nail Awards and the importance of keeping our historic buildings intact.
But in Boulder we have 10 historic districts and about 170 individual landmarks, and in all that comes out to about 2,500 properties that are designated historic. I think the first and probably the most important is sort of keeping in touch with the past and for the community and for people in general to understand, where their communities come from. But also the buildings often were very well built and, good architectural examples that are worthy of preservation. So, and then I think the third reason that really makes sense is keeping an old building is a sustainable thing. So if you keep an old building, it means that you don't have to take that building down and get rid of the materials, and you don't have to get new materials to make a new building.
You can get involved in Historic Preservation Month by visiting boulderplandevelop.net and clicking on Historic Preservation. There you'll find a copy of the Boulder County Historic Preservation events throughout the month of May. Many Boulder residents love to hike with their four-legged friends off-leash, and the Open Space and Mountain Parks Department recently completed an evaluation of the Voice and Sight Tag program. The program, which was launched in 2006, requires dog guardians to watch a video on voice and sight control and display the green program tag for all dogs off-leash in areas that allow voice and sight control. OSMP is inviting the public to review the findings of the evaluation and provide feedback on the potential next steps.
The Voice and Sight Tag program at its heart is a way to improve visitors to open space awareness and understanding of the voice and sight regulations for people who want to have their dogs off leash and under voice and sight control. So the idea is pretty simple. More awareness, more understanding will lead to greater compliance, and greater compliance will lead to reduced conflict with other visitors, and reduced impacts on natural resources like wildlife. The staff has taken a shot at summarizing a lot of information around the Voice and Sight Tag program, including the results of our monitoring program. That's been put together in an evaluation report, which is available on our website. We have an open house at the East Boulder Community Center. We invite people to come to that and share their thoughts and the opportunity to interact with people and hear what they have to say.
The open house will be held on Thursday, May 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the East Boulder Community Senior Center. After the open house, staff and the Open Space Board of Trustees will explore which program and policy changes should be recommended for City Council consideration. That's all the time we have for this week. You can connect with Inside Boulder News on Facebook by submitting news tips and questions. Just search for City of Boulder Channel 8. Thanks for watching and stick around for more Inside Boulder next.